It's a long road when you're on your own, and it hurts when they tear your dreams apart. And every new town just seems to bring you down. Trying to find peace of mind can break your heart. It's a real war right outside your front door, I tell ya. Out where they'll kill ya, you could use a friend. Where the road is, that is the place for me. Where I'm me in my own space, where I'm free, that's the place I want to be. The road is long, yeah. Each step is only the beginning. No breaks, just heartaches. Oh man, is anybody winning? It's a long road and it's hard as hell. Tell me, what do you do to survive? When they draw first blood, that's just the start of it. Day and night, you gotta fight to keep alive. Then the lyrics say it's a long road. Oh yeah, I suppose it's like it's yeah, I don't know. We'll just end it at to keep alive. Let's see here. Close this. Well, we'll just leave it open. Screw it. Okay, so hello, huge movie fanatic Nate. I'm seeing Iron Rooster here. He says, laugh out loud. How are you today? I'm all right. Let me just finish the intro real quick. Huge movie fanatic Nate here, reporting on May 6th, 2021. Starting for the very first time at high noon Central Time. I thought maybe during the warmer months, maybe if I started earlier, then I could end earlier and still have time to get outside and stuff. It's a chilly day still, but if I start at noon, I can end at 2 and then still get outside a little bit to do some stuff because it's, warmer than it is, in the winter, although it's below average temperatures right now. So back to your question, I'm all right. It's a little chilly, unseasonably chilly. So far this spring has been unseasonably chilly and cloudy, and normally by this time I've gotten a decent amount of sun and I'm still pale as a ghost, so that's kind of a bummer. Rooster says it's in the 70s and sunny here, and for anyone who doesn't know, he's in Mississippi. Lucky, glad to hear it. It's I don't know what it is right now. It's not supposed to, I don't think, hit 60. It's probably 56 degrees on 5/6 so far. So we'll see if anyone shows up. At this new start time, maybe people are so used to the 1 p.m. start time. I can imagine seeing people showing up at 1 and being like, oh. For anyone who wants to keep updated on the weekly start time, be sure to probably like on Wednesday, late Wednesday or something, every late Wednesday, check the About page on my channel, Huge Movie Fanatics on YouTube, and that'll, most oftentimes is the case. It will let you know when my start time is going to be. And for those of you subscribed, what I've started doing is, doing the like when I before bed on Wednesday, I'll do the schedule the stream. So in my understanding, people who are subscribed get a notification about that. But if you're not one to subscribe, just late Wednesday nights or late Wednesdays, just check the about page for the start time the next day, and that'll keep you up to date. But so far, it looks like there's two people here. Wade Wilson's here. I haven't seen him in the show for like a long, long time. Was worried there for a while. Hello, Wade. Glad to see you back. Roosters says before long it's going to be humid as hell here. I know, I hate humidity. It used to be humid here in Minnesota in the summer, but it seems like it's kind of something that's gone away, which I can't complain about. Or if it does come, it doesn't last, which is fine with me because I hate humidity and I don't have air conditioning in my home. Rooster says it'll be like breathing soup walking outside, laugh out loud. Yeah, I'd rather freeze my ass off than be in the humidity, because at least you can cover up under blankets and wear layers to keep warm. You can't take enough off to get cool in the humidity. So, as I said, starting the show an hour earlier than normal because I'm like, well, it makes sense to start sooner so I can end sooner. Versus doing a show, like at 6, starting at 6 or 7 p.m. Plus, this way, possible people from across the pond can join in as well. So, who knows? Maybe I'll even start sooner if it ever warms up. Maybe 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. start times. Yeah, and that way I can be ended by 1 and still get out and do stuff. That might be the thing I'm going to do, and that way people in Europe can also, it'll be even earlier for people in Europe. So that might be what I'm going to do moving forward, instead of this later shows then I can do the show and get the outdoor activity, do both of them in the same day and have an early show and outdoor activity. I'm seeing 4 people listening, which is probably 3 people and myself. Rooster says, yeah, whatever works for you, buddy. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe change the start time to noon or 11 a.m. for the warm months. And as I keep on saying, because I do have OCD after all, that way I can start early and end early and still get nice amount of weather or time out in the nice weather. But anyway, so I don't know. I think I mentioned in last week's show that our plan, Beth and I's plan for Saturday, was to go to the drive-in theater for the first time this year. I guess I can tell you guys a little bit about that experience. It was like the first day here in Minnesota, I think so far the year, that actually got into the 80s. I think it was mid 80s, just one of those freak weather occurrences, but a good one, because gosh knows we deserve warm weather. But so it was kind of a madhouse. We show up obsessively early. We, believe it or not, well, Beth's OCD as well. So, but Beth, I think, is even a little more OCD about the drive-in and showing up early maybe than I am. We actually, believe it or not, we like to be the first ones in line. So Saturday, believe it or not, we showed up at the drive-in, that's not open yet, and parked at the closed drive-in theater gates at 2 p.m., believe it or not. And luckily we were the first ones there. And to our surprise, like 15 minutes later, at like 2:15, someone pulls up next to us, and it's kind of I don't want to make too many judgments, but well, without making too many judgments, these, it was just kind of the people that showed up were kind of annoying to be right around. And then a car pulled up behind them and another vehicle behind them, and they were all like together, and they started like throwing the football. And once more cars showed up, there was a vehicle behind us, and like the football would almost hit the vehicle behind us and almost hit my vehicle. And it's just like, people are just like not particularly courteous, and I have a relatively decent vehicle, and I don't need a football like smashing a window out of it, or it's just, I don't know. So basically, you sit there in front of the closed gate from like what we sat there from like 2 to when did they come and open it. I don't know if they came and opened it at 4. So we kind of dealt with this for 2 hours. And then the people right behind us, there's like 2 lanes, the people who pulled up right behind us. This is a new phenomenon, or either that or I'd never noticed it before, but where you'll actually have these younger individuals that actually go to a drive-in theater and their windows are never down. So basically their 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 windows are up and their cars are running and their ACs are on. And this is like the whole time. These people were behind us the whole 3 hours before we were able to buy our tickets and actually park. So these people, I mean, they didn't annoy me like in the sense of throwing a football or having loud music. There was like a quiet annoyance. It's just a commentary on 21st century quote unquote people. Is there, you go to an outdoor event in your vehicle and you're just sitting there with the windows up the whole time. I mean, we're talking about the 3 hours up to even buying tickets and getting parking. So obviously, I'm sure for the whole night, the windows are up and they're either AC. Well, I can't imagine they'd put their heater on, but their AC's on. And it's these kind of people that, and Beth just brought this up to me about the drive-in because there's a lot of time to kill. So we're just talking. She's like, just imagine people that were born in 2000 are like 20 or 21 now. So it's like that's kind of probably what the people who were behind us were, like these, people born in the 21st century babies. And it's just like, so it's like, okay, what do we got to do? We got to be like, have our temperature be like between 72 and 73, and it's got to be that, and we can't sit outside at a drive-in theater with the windows down and the breeze blowing in. And anyway, so I'll take a look at comments real quick here. So Rooster did say a while back, I was just about to ask you if you went. So yeah, I bitched about that for a little while. Wade Wilson says they just start throwing a football around cars. That's pretty rude. I'm glad to hear you think the same thing, because a lot of times I think I'm overly sensitive about stuff. But come on, I mean, there's like, you don't have to throw the football around all the parked cars. And the football did hit one of their vehicles, but it's one of their vehicles, so it doesn't matter. But it nearly hit the car behind us. And it's like, for a while they were playing because the drive-in's on a frontage road. They were playing the football on the road. I'm like, go for it. I hope. I won't say it out loud, but anyway, yeah, it's just like, and then, well, what else did Wade say? That's pretty rude. I remember when I was younger, my brother and I threw a football on a beach, which makes more sense because it's a fitting situation. Yeah, hopefully around people. I mean, the people who showed up right next to us, like 15 minutes after we got there at 2, were just kind of basically rude. I mean, there's all kinds of space to throw the football around where it's not going to like potentially hit one of these vehicles. Wade says it's an odd place to throw a football at. Yeah, I mean, these people were, okay, yeah, I mean, oh my God, So, like the 3 hours or something, was it 3, 4, 5? Yeah, like 3 or 4. When did I try to remember when they, I don't know. We'll just say 3.5 hours before we even bought the tickets and parked in the actual, drive-in theater area was kind of a pain in the ass. And then right before we got the tickets, because when they let you in the initial gate, you kind of pull in front of the ticket booth, which isn't open yet. Then you sit there for a while. So you sit like there for 2 hours outside the main gate, let you in, sit for maybe an hour and a half before. And you only go through this if you're psycho and want to be the first ones in line, which we always are, or try to be, because we're psycho. So then, once they let us in and we pulled up, of course, we're still next to these people. And then one of the guys had like a subwoofer in their car. If the football wasn't bad enough, they had a subwoofer in their car. And I've never understood and will never understand the attraction or the subwoofer in your vehicle phenomenon. And just liking, people that like to have their brains vibrated, or empty heads, whatever. So then they're vibrating, the area with their subwoofer in their car, throwing the football, granted, when we got into the spot where we're parked right in front of the ticket booth, there was more of an area for them to throw the football, but Then I'm dealing with the subwoofer, and oh my god, let me take a little look at chat real quick. Rooster says, "Shit, people get out of the vehicle here and sit in chairs." Yeah, they were kind of doing that, but it was a combination of sitting in chairs, throwing footballs, sitting in chairs. What's so funny is after they threw a football for a while, it's like some of them got back in the vehicle, rolled up the windows, and I can only assume started the car and turned on the AC. Like, you can't just cool down naturally. I just can't believe what people are like. Rooster says, some sit in the car too, but with it off, laugh out loud. Yeah, people here, I get, maybe it's a Minnesota thing. We're so used to freezing our asses off that they can't they can't let themselves get above like 75 degrees body temperature. It's like running vehicles, windows up, with the AC on at the drive-in theater is just so pathetic to me. Austin says, I bought Criterion Blu-ray of Silence of the Lambs. Very cool. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm bitching about our first drive-in experience of the year. And then not only that, but once we did get, generally, the stress level goes down once you actually get the, your parking space in the actual theater and things like that. But and luckily, and then I was all stressed out that these people that were throwing the football and had the subwoofer were going to park right next to us when we actually got into the area. Luckily, they parked right up front. We parked like 3 rows back. So, but they were doing the subwoofer off and on, between that time and then when the movie would start. And it's just like, what is the fascination with the subwoofer shit? I mean, I just don't understand it. So basically, it was like one of the worst drive-in experiences I can ever remember, which was a bummer, because, it's something we kind of like to do. It's just a bummer that people are so oblivious that there's other people around and might not want to get their vehicle hit with the football. They might not want to hear the low-frequency subwoofer vibration horse shit. And people that just ruin or, potentially ruin shit for other people out in public is just a drag. I've been bitching for 17 minutes. Sorry, guys. Surprisingly, I thought Godzilla vs. Kong was not incredibly horrible for me. I think it was probably my favorite of the now 3 recent American Godzilla movies. I really don't like the first one from 2014, and I thought King of the Monsters, the more recent American Godzilla King of the Monsters was better, but I think this is my favorite of the 3 more recent American Godzilla movies. I like the colors and the Hong Kong at night stuff, and just like the Tron-esque colors and stuff like that. Beth wanted to see Mortal Kombat. We watched that. I've never cared about the game or any of the movies. I mean, it was okay for free. Well, it wasn't free, but not something I need to see again. Okay, so I hope your Criterion Blu-ray of Silence of the Lambs is enjoyable. Austin says, was Mortal Kombat 21 bad as they say? I mean, I don't know how bad they're saying it is. It didn't do much for me. Beth apparently knows a little more about the characters and stories. She says that, some of the characters that were white are like now Asian. And of course, yeah, whatever. So, I mean, I don't have any stake in Mortal Kombat game, movies, anything, so it didn't really matter to me. But the Godzilla vs. Kong was surprisingly not horrible. I will say that. I mean, it's a 2021 movie, so keep expectations realistic. But it was probably, Godzilla vs. Kong was probably better than I was thinking it was going to be. Rooster says, I used to have the top row at the movie theater because I didn't want people sitting behind me. I'd have to show up early for that. Laugh out loud. Oh, you mean way at the back when you say top row? Yeah. Yeah, people behind. Yeah. That reminds me of movie, I haven't been to a movie theater in over a year. And, I don't, it was kind of an experience that I wasn't really digging anymore either. Depending on the people especially with the like reserve seating, and then you might end up right next to someone, and it's kind of almost just as well that you know I don't go to indoor movie theaters anymore because I was kind of getting sick of it. Anyway, Wade Wilson says, "What do you think of Godzilla 1998? I think it came out in 1998, or do you forget what? I think that one came out in 1998, or do you forget it? I forget most of it, so I might have to watch it again sometime soon." Yeah, that came out in 98, and it was, after the Independent, it was the same guys who did Independence Day, and after that huge success, they were going to try to do another huge success. And I don't think it did particularly well. I didn't really well, I kind of liked it, everything about it, except for the portrayal of Godzilla. I mean, it's the stupidest Godzilla look ever. And Beth said something while we were at the movie, which kind of made sense to me and might even be true, that because I always wondered why the 98 Godzilla and now the the new American Godzilla, they look just so stupid. And, Beth might have something here when she says, well, maybe, Toho, it was like an agreement for America to use the character, is that you have to make it look stupid. And then she's like, it sounds like his roar is, the Godzilla roar in the American ones is like backwards or something. And I'm like, God, she might have another point. Maybe, Toho is making, as a condition of America using the character, they have to make him look stupid and sound stupid. And that made a lot of sense to me. That could be the case. Because I think the more recent Godzilla looks better, but who else hates his freaking elephant feet? And geez, Lou. So, I like 1998 Godzilla, except for Godzilla, and the thing I hate about it is the baby Godzilla's aspect. If you did a Nate cut, that baby Godzilla aspect would be not even in the movie. That was just such a drag, trying to be all cutesy and yeah, just extending the movie. The baby Godzilla stuff was a joke. Austin says Raiden was sort of Asian in the game. Okay, sorta. I mean, what does that mean? He's got one. I won't say it. Austin says, I saw Godzilla 1998 in theaters. Yeah, I did too. I saw it in theaters, and then me and my dad saw it at the drive-in, and it was the only drive-in I think I've ever been to in my life where it actually, while the movie was playing, there became like this huge, massive downpour, and just severe weather just came out of nowhere. And I think we did the stupidest thing ever, which is the whole theater, well, maybe not the whole theater, but a majority, maybe half or more of the drive-in theater, when this torrential rain and like wind and thunder and lightning just showed up out of nowhere. Half the theater, including us, were like driving out. We were all panicking, and everyone starts heading for the exit. Like, I don't know, like, I think you're better off just sitting there than driving in that. But we were a couple of the idiots that, actually in kind of a panic left the theater, mid Godzilla movie in 98, drive-in theater, after this torrential rain and, this just severe weather appeared. So it's like we're driving in this torrential rain, and it's just so much safer than just sitting there. We should have just waited it out. But the panic of the moment was just like, oh my God, it's like the movie Twister, well, they didn't have, in that scene, they didn't have rain or anything. It was just the wind and the tornado that came in. But it was really, wish I would have video recorded that. But that was the only time we ever that I ever got caught in this just all of a sudden flash storm at a drive-in theater. But there are things I like about Godzilla 1998, just not Godzilla's appearance or the Godzilla babies. Austin says, I saw a lot of Roland Emmerich films in the theaters back then, laugh out loud back when his movies were still watchable. Yeah, that's for darn sure. Rooster says, my recent buy is The Sect from 1991, has Jamie Lee Curtis' sister in it. That's crazy. I didn't know she had a sister that was an actress. It's kind of part of the Demon series, I guess. Haven't watched it yet. Okay. Austin says, I saw Son of Godzilla as a kid in the early 90s. Austin says, I think Raiden is half-breed Asian in the game, but he's also not a human either. Wade Wilson says, is Sonya or Johnny Cage now Asian? I think Johnny Cage is Asian in the new one, I think. Matt says, yo, I'm back. Okay, well, he said be right back a week ago, and I guess he meant next week. Welcome back. Rooster says, so is everyone Asian in Mortal Kombat now? Laugh out loud. Apparently. I think the only Caucasian is the blonde in the new movie. Austin says, Iron Rooster, so the sect is Demons 4? Oh, good. Jose is here. He says, Amityville, it's about time 1992. Actually, it's Amityville 1992. It's about time. Get it right. Just kidding. Matt says, laughing my ass off. Yeah, what happened to you last week? Austin says, I couldn't believe how bad Independence Day Resurgence was, yet at the same time, I could since it was a 2016 movie. Exactly. Yeah, for me, I never reviewed it on the channel, but for me, I always felt Independence Day 2 seems like 3. It seems like there's all kinds of stuff that that it's just like all these characters. It seemed more like 3. Like, and there's just like information that we never got. It just seemed more like 3. But I mean, regardless of whether it feels like 2 or 3, I mean, it was stupid. And I couldn't believe the guy who plays Jeff Goldblum's dad didn't look any older, like, at all than he did in the first movie. I don't know if they de-aged him or what, but it's like Jeff Goldblum aged, but the guy who played his dad looks younger than Jeff Goldblum in the Independence Day sequel that no one saw. Matt says, "Who the hell downvoted this stream?" Yeah, they downvoted it before it was started because the last several weeks I've been doing my scheduling the stream before I go to bed on Wednesday. So this morning when I got up, it was downvoted before the show even started. So that was fun. It was someone who didn't approve of the 12 o'clock high noon start time, I guess. Yeah, the internet is full of faceless hate. Matt says hands up now. Yeah, I'm seeing 4 thumbs up. Hitchhikers, whatever you want to call them. Wade Wilson says, who's the blonde? Is that Sonya? I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy. I mean, there's only one chick fighter, and it's the blonde. It's like the military blonde, I guess. I must be Sonya. I mean, it's the only girl in the whole movie, ain't she? Austin says Johnny Cage isn't in the new movie. I'm pretty sure he is, and I think he's Asian. Iron Rooster says I may be wrong. Austin, probably am. I don't know what he's wrong about. Okay, maybe about everyone being Asian in the new Mortal Kombat. Matt says, I don't know what happened to me last week. I got caught up in something I don't even remember. Okay. Matt's doing the drugs. That's his own individual right. Austin says Independence Day 2 was made way too late. That should have been made in 1999 or 2000 at the most. It might have worked back then before it became Hollywood woke central. That's true. With the success of the original, you'd think it would have come out a lot sooner. Same with Ghostbusters. Like, why wait until no one gives a shit anymore to do the sequel? Makes so much sense. Austin says, I love the Mortal Kombat series. Okay, way to go. Wade Wilson says Johnny Cage is the celebrity that likes to wear sunglasses. From what I remember with the new Mortal Kombat movie, he wasn't a celebrity. It was kind of like one of those sequel setups. Like he was gonna, he was just Johnny Cage or whatever throughout the movie. And then at the end of the movie, he was like, put the sunglasses on or said something like he's moving to Hollywood or something, kind of like an in joke setting up his character for any potential sequel, which I'm sure won't happen. But that's what I think they did with Johnny Cage in the new movie. It's like he wasn't the celebrity before or during the movie, but it was like they were going to set up the fact that he was going to go to Hollywood after the end of the movie and become a celebrity, is from what I can remember. Gary Page is here. Welcome. He's from across the pond in the UK. He says, "Hi, Nate. Hi, everyone else. Sorry I'm late." Oh, you're only 30 minutes late. That's not a problem. We still probably got 90 minutes of fun left, I would imagine. Matt says, "No drugs, laugh out loud." Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Austin says, "No, the Asian guy is a new character they created just for the new film. They wrote Cage out of it." Okay, well, could be. I'm not an authority on Mortal Kombat. I don't claim to know anything about it. Matt says, "No, I took the shot and my memory went blank and lost feeling all over my leg." And ha 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 ha. Yeah. That'll do it. Austin says people still give a shit about Independence Day in the late 90s, but by 2016 it was just a forgotten movie. I have the 5-star collection DVD of the first one. I might have that too. I also got I don't know where the hell it is, but I also had the VHS widescreen THX VHS clamshell release of Independence Day. I don't think, did I ever have? I must have had the laser disc. I probably sold it though after I got the DVD. I think I had the laser disc. Some laser discs I sold after I got the DVDs of them. Kind of regret that, but that's okay. Matt says, "But that just means the shot is working, Nate. Trust science." Oh, I do. I trust it all right. I didn't hear much talk about science after 9/11 or physics, but that's another story. Matt says, "Did you like the new Mortal Kombat? It was cheesy as hell, but the action was decent." Yeah, we saw it at the drive-in. It was after Godzilla vs. Kong, and I was tired, so I was kind of just like, I hope it's over so we can go home. I guess I'll agree the action was decent, but at that time, we had spent nearly 12 hours at the drive-in. Like by the time Mortal Kombat started, we probably spent we'd probably been at the drive-in for 9 or 10 hours, and I was just kind of over it by then. So I don't remember a lot of it, but it was. I think decent is a good word for the new Mortal Kombat. Wade, Jesus, chat's going fast. Wade says, "How are they going to kick Johnny Cage out of a Mortal Kombat movie? Johnny Cage, Sonya, and Liu Kang are the main characters in Mortal Kombat video game." That's a good question. I still feel like Johnny Cage was in the new one, but Austin seems to think he wasn't. Iron Rooster says, "Nate, do you have any more Nightmare on Elm Street VHS tapes?" Yeah, I'm gonna upload after the show today. I'll upload the showing the fourth one. I've got everything through Freddy's Dead. I never got New Nightmare on VHS because when that came out, I got the Laserdisc, which of course, since when the DVD box set came out, I think I got rid of the New Nightmare Laserdisc, which I now regret. So I'm going to show you guys my VHSs of Nightmare 4, 5, and Freddy's Dead. All those are all original VHSs for sure. Whereas the first three I showed you, I mean, I can't say that they're original. I mean, from like the very first tapes, but I'm sure the artwork is pretty much the same, if not the same. Yeah, people really, really enjoy just me showing laserdiscs and VHS tapes. Like it's so much easier than doing reviews because you don't have to think, and they're so much shorter, and people really, really enjoy those videos, the views, and the subscribers you get from putting those videos out compared to actually doing reviews is quite. But I'll still do reviews. I think it'll just be a mixed match of reviews and showcasings and reviews and showcasings. So that's what's going on with the Nightmare VHS tapes. Austin says the Independence Day VHS had that lenticular 3D cover. Oh yeah, I had that as well. That was actually really cool. of the White House blowing up. Matt says at Wade Wilson, Johnny Cage is a white male, can't be having them as being a hero in woke Hollywood. Yeah, plus, I don't think I don't know if I want to get into it, but Wade Wilson says, oh, Matt says, you were 12 hours at the drive-in? What the fuck? Laugh out loud. Yeah, maybe after the show, listen to the first half hour of the show. I spent the first 17 minutes of the show bitching about the drive-in experience. We go there obsessively early to be the very first one in line. So we went there at 2 in the afternoon to be first in line. And basically the movie doesn't start until, 9. So that's the first movie. So yeah, we make a day of it because Beth and I both have OCD, and we got to be first in line so we can get our spot, a third row dead center. And I got some video. Oh, here's another thing. We had, for the very first time with the drive-in experience, door-to-door salesmen. Well, now in 2021 at the drive-in theater, there's car-to-car salesmen. And I got this little kid on tape. Some dad was pimping out his teenage son selling candy bars. I recorded, basically all of after we got set up, parked, and, in our spot in the actual theater up until the movies start. And then I recorded intermission. Perhaps I will upload clips of the highlights. But yeah, car-to-car salesman. Buy some candy bars. Oh my God. There's a lot of footage to go through. So, yeah. But yeah, because we're both OCD, we go to the drive-in too early. So by the time the movies start, we're pretty much sick of being there. Matt says you got to rock that Miata more. Yeah, I'm thinking I really should drive it this year. Rooster says all the posters for the Nightmare on Elm Street series have great artwork. Yep, they're pretty cool. Austin says Lost World also had a lenticular VHS in Star Trek First Contact. That's right. That brings me back. Matt says, do they have popcorn and other food to buy at the drive-in that isn't car-to-car salesman? Well, the actual car-to-car salesman was probably just some, dad and teenage son. I can't imagine they didn't work for the drive-in. It's not like the employees are coming. That would actually be convenient if the employees went, car-to-car with popcorn or whatever. But yeah, there's a concession stand. Obviously, starting last year, you can't go in it anymore. But yeah, we get the popcorn, and Beth gets hot dogs, and I get a hamburger and fries. I like to financially support the drive-in theater because it's just amazing that they're still around. Of course, now they're doing better business than the last couple of years, but we do the whole concession stuff. So I'll try to put up some of that video, highlights from some of that video for you guys, if you have any interest in seeing it. But I was really kind of disgusted about the car-to-car salesman teenage kid. I can only assume they got permission from the theater to do that, but I mean, there's a chance that they didn't even ask the theater if they could do that, which would have been kind of ballsy. We didn't ask the teenage kid. It's so funny how the teenage kid poked his head in our vehicle, and like we said no, and he goes away, and then someone came and got him, and I got a sale dead center right on camera. Someone showed up with this little kid in his arms, and it's like, he wants a candy bar, and I got the sale right dead center on the video camera. It's funny. I kind of feel like, I don't know if I should be, I might bleep out the face of the guy and the kid buying it, just because, I don't know. But maybe I'll leave the face of the teenage salesman kid in the video. I don't know. Where the hell am I on chat? Oh, okay. Austin says Iron Rooster Part 6 has the teaser poster by the same artist who did the first 5 Nightmare posters. Yeah, that's the only poster I'm familiar with. I didn't realize it was the teaser poster. I've actually got that actual poster that I bought at Suncoast as well. So that's just a teaser poster of Freddy's Dead? Okay, well, I don't know if I know the non-teaser poster of Freddy's Dead then. Matt says, yeah, the only place that fucking dine in theaters would make sense is at a drive-in, but hey, they don't do it. Go figure. Austin says, I hope Scream Factory use the Nightmare 5 VHS cover as reversible if they do a box set. Oh, I can only assume they will. Of course, they didn't with Friday 5, so they'll probably use every artwork but the original VHS cover. Wouldn't that be funny? Matt says, question, are drive-in theaters louder and more disruptive from the audience? Do you use your car stereo to listen to it? Or is there speakers outside? The first 3 rows used to have the old speakers outside, but of course, last year that changed. They got rid of the speakers because you wouldn't want to touch them and have someone else touch them and get the renamed cold or flu. So the speakers are gone. So you just basically use your car speakers, and that can be a problem. As I started the first 17 minutes of the show with, some people, I'm not big on the car subwoofer thing, and some people really annoy you with their car subwoofer thing. So you basically listen to the movie on your car speakers or bring a portable radio or something like that. It was really fun when they had like the first 3 rows of the old classic speakers on the poles that you put on your window. Problem with that is like when it's dark out, and we've actually had this happen once because we used to use them until this happened. But you know, when it's dark out, people walk in between the vehicles. So we actually had an occasion where, and I actually said this that night before it happened. I said, like, God, what if someone walked by, you know, your car in between your car and the speaker pole and got caught in the wire? And then like hours later that happened, and it like obviously it jerks the speaker, you know, from one side to the other and slams it up against your windowsill thing. The people next to us actually had their window rolled up and had the speaker hooked on the window. If that would have happened to them, it probably would have broke their window off. Oh. Rooster says that might make a good video, Nate. Yeah, I'll see about finding any highlights from the drive-in video and showing you guys. Wade Wilson says Nightmare on Elm Street 5 is only uncut on Laserdisc and some VHS copies of it. There is, however, a guy working on an uncut version upscale of it on YouTube. He claims he'll release it to the public. Yeah, the VHS I show in my video that I'll upload, it'll probably be tomorrow, is the uncut version as well. Yeah, and I think I mentioned that in that video. I was pretty sure that, you know, at least in North America, the DVD and Blu-ray we got of Nightmare 5 is the theatrical version, which is a bummer. One can only assume if Scream Factory does a collection that it'll have an uncut version as well, probably with something missing that they'll have to replace the disc over, but life goes on. Matt says, what about listening to them on Bluetooth headphones through your car stereo? I mean, I suppose you could. I'm not the biggest Bluetooth headphones guy in general. I suppose that's an option. You can do it any old way. And what's kind of cool is, you know, it's FM, so you can hear the movie in stereo. So, I mean, if you did the headphones thing, it would be really cool. Almost, you know, kind of more movie theater-ish stereo than just, you know, on your car speakers. But I try to keep my headphone usage to a minimum because we only get one set of ears, or at least I only got one set of ears. Austin says Scream Factory did use the VHS cover body parts as reversible. Same with Man's Best Friend. That's cool. Matt says, what do you think about your car battery draining? I wouldn't want to keep my car running that whole time. I'd probably bring an extra battery to plug in myself. Talking about if we bought the Miata to the drive-in. Well, the one thing that's really cool about that place is, you know, obviously batteries dying at the drive-in is very common and current. So they've got a free thing. They've got jump boxes there. So the, you know, employee will bring you go to the concession stand and go get some help, and they'll bring a jump box to your vehicle and jump you so you can leave. But I don't think I'd bring even if we brought the Miata to the drive-in, we wouldn't listen on the car stereo. We'd probably bring a radio. Austin says, I'd be willing to get a bootleg Blu-ray of Uncut Nightmare 5. All right, good. Matt says, well, even a regular car, I'm sure the battery isn't going to last even 2 movies. Exactly. It's kind of common to have people get jumped with the old jump boxes. I think that's kind of cool that they just have that as something they do for free. In the old days, it used to be, people would have to go to other cars that were leaving. Can you jump us? And if you were lucky, they would. And if you weren't lucky, they wouldn't. I never had to be jumped, I don't think, at a drive-in theater. Matt says, but then again, I guess it might. Stereos don't use a lot of power. Depends on how good your battery is, I guess. Austin says, I wonder if Scream Factory would use the 1999 VHS covers of Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 6 reversibles as well. I would hope so. Wade Wilson says, the upscale looks really good and you can check it out on YouTube. Rooster says, turn the car off and bring a radio is the best way. I kind of agree with that. Just play it safe. That's what we did. We just brought a radio. One of the bummer things, though, about listening to the drive-in sound I've found is it's like kind of like with the, DTS, the kind of the, what's it called on Blu-ray? The uncompressed sound where it's like the loud stuff is really loud and the dialogue's all quiet. So it's kind of like I find you kind of have to turn the volume up and down, when it's loud, turn it down. When they're talking, turn it up. It's kind of a drag. Matt says, if you have a nice car, then you can't beat how good the car stereo is. Well, that's true as well. Yep, that's true as well. Yeah. Austin says DTS HD lossless is what Blu-ray mainly uses. Rooster says the chat stopped. Laugh out loud. I can deal with that. My eyes are already drying out. Yeah, that happened last week where it's just like people must all go for a piss break at the same time. Austin says Blu-rays do get a bit too loud sometimes. I agree. Like sometimes I gotta turn those up and down as well. I kind of miss. That's one thing I miss about DVD is like it's just like one volume for the whole movie. Wade says the prices of some horror movies on Laserdisc are ridiculous on eBay, hard to collect for format. That sucks. Isn't that something? How, for a while there, they were just worthless and like, half prices, and other stores were just selling them for like $1 a piece just to get rid of them, just to move them. And now it's almost like they're so old that they're going up in value again. And probably same with VHS, I would think. Austin says, I've heard Laserdiscs are louder than Blu-ray. Any truth to that? I don't remember that problem with Laserdisc, although I don't know. It's possible. I'm not crazy into all this technical mumbo jumbo, but it's possible that like Laserdiscs were possibly a lossless sound, whereas like DVD is said to be compressed audio. Don't quote me on that, but it's possible that that's how it is. Rooster says, yeah, be prepared to empty your bank account if you want a cool Laserdisc collection. Laugh out loud. Isn't that weird? I mean, it's basically, Laserdiscs are basically just archaic, useless things these days. I mean, how many people have players? It's just weird, but I guess it's what happens. Something will come out and then like 10 or 15 years after it's exists, it's like worthless, and then 30, 40 years old later, the worth becomes worth something. It's just effed up. Matt says, yeah, I don't know who the hell mixes some of the sound in these movies. That new Nolan movie, Tenet, had the worst sound mix I've ever heard. You could barely hear people speaking at all during action scenes. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think that you're supposed to listen to this stuff way too loud to be able to hear the dialogue. I don't understand it, but luckily I don't watch a lot of new movies, so it's not a big thing. But yeah, I don't get it. Austin says vintage stock sold laser discs for $1. Laugh out loud. Must be a store by him. Austin says yes, laser discs are lossless analog, unless of course it's digital sound, then it's lossless digital, I would imagine. Matt says which HD DVDs are watch HD DVDs are start to become worth something. Laughing my ass off. I don't doubt it. HD DVDs will become worth something eventually. You're talking about that format that wasn't that what they called? Yeah, the format that was, versus Blu-ray at the beginning of the format war. Yeah, HD DVD. Wade says original Nintendo games are the same way. Now some Nintendo games sell for a lot. That's true. Gary says that's what happened to my Laserdisc collection. I sold them for cheap because DVD exploded onto the scene. I know, what a bummer. Matt says Nolan said they mixed the sound for high-end theaters. Fucking snob, because most people are watching it on a home and basic movie theaters. Yeah, there you go. Mix it for high-end theaters and release it the year that no one's going to them. Fucker. Austin says hipsters are at fault for the laser disc price gouging. They just think they're cool because they collect something retro. Sick of that trend. They're hurting collecting. Yeah, that could be part of it. Like, oh, put them on our wall. Or maybe they think they're LP records. People used to think that when I worked at Suncoast and we had Laserdiscs. They're like, records? Why do they sell records? Matt says, yeah, the competitor to Blu-ray was HD DVD. Yeah, in retrospect, that sounds so stupid that you'd call it DVD. Like HD DVD. Austin says Blu-rays are lossless digital if they are using DTS HD or Dolby True / Atmos. Yep, that's true. Matt says that Austin hipsters ruin everything. Let them losers wear their stuff on their face and get their good boy shot. Rooster says, I want the Friday 13th movies on lasers, but I'm not paying $500 or more for a set of them. I'll have to be happy with my VHS tapes and the Shout Factory set. Yeah, I mean, as a proud owner of them, it's, they're not, owning them doesn't enhance my life or anything, so that much. Not at all. So it's not a real big deal. I'm lucky that I don't really have any desires to own stuff, because that could probably really get to you if someone's got desire to own stuff that they can't fulfill. Austin says, at Matt, I fully agree. They'll drop dead in a year from the shots. Laugh out loud. Gary Page says, I bet Friday the 13th Laserdisc isn't cheap now, is it? I don't know. I can't imagine it is. Oh, I found because when I did my showcasings of my Friday Laserdiscs, I showcased the first one that I found at half price for I think $3 or something. Because I think in that video I said I'm pretty sure I got it. I have a new one too, and I found that one. So I've got two versions of the first Friday movie on Laserdisc. One that's like that used looking version, all worn cover, and then like a really pristine one that I got new, I think when I worked at Suncoast. Matt says at Austin, we can only hope, laugh out loud. That's true. Austin says hipsters don't give a shit about lasers or physical media. It's just a fad to them. Fuckers. I added that part. Wade says I have 8 Friday the 13th movies on Laserdisc, except the third movie has terrible Laserdisc rot, so I have the VHS copy of Friday Part 3. I also own Friday the 13th on Blu-ray. I just started watching the Friday movies again, because it's that time of year, and of course doing the Scream Factory ones. And I think I noticed this last year on the new scan of the first movie, but having watched it again recently, at the very end of the movie when you got that what the hell's that cop's name? Shit, I knew it, and then shit, I don't know. The cop at the end of the movie who's talking to Alice. Anyway, I should know his name, but when you're doing a live show, sometimes it's brain freeze. But the last shot of him when he's like looking from Alice to the doctor or something. Originally, before that new scan came out, there was a camera shake. And I think they took out the camera shake in that shot. It's kind of jarring because, for 40 years, or not for, I haven't watched a movie for 40 years, but the 30 years that I've been watching that movie, that camera shake was there. And I think they took it out. And it's actually more jarring to not see that shake now than it is to just leave it there. Sergeant Tierney. Matt says they are pushing India propaganda for their tyranny. More and more BS. Never fucking ends with the psychos. Yeah, did you just hear? Let's see, how can I say this without potentially having a problem? Well, there was recently a supposed, I don't even know how to say this, victory with a certain ongoing individual who was found guilty of, supposedly killing someone just today or yesterday. So it was a big surprise to us in the know who are like, wow, they actually did the right thing and they avoided the riots. Well, now they just said that they might revisit the case, and who knows, it'll probably be overturned, and then the riots can happen even bigger than they would have if, yeah. Anyway. Austin says it's weird. It's weird. I have 2 Blu-ray sets of Friday the 13th, the Paramount 8 film set, and Scream Factory. Okay, so an hour into the show, I can't even comprehend this. It's weird. I have 2 Blu-ray sets. Oh, okay. So you've got all kinds of, yeah, I see what you're saying. Matt says, oh, they're doing this on purpose to have riots. That's exactly it. That's why I was so surprised when the verdict was, or they had the verdict be what it was. But then I was like, you know what? This doesn't have to be over. Imagine how everyone would explode if they have a favorable verdict at first, and then later on it's reversed. And then it's like, what really sucks is I live, in the area really close to like where that was purported to have happened last year. So if the thing's overturned and reversed, I mean, it's going to affect me and possibly the show. Wade says scumbags looking for an excuse to riot. They don't care about such and such or his family. Well, God damn it. I think I kind of started it, didn't I? Matt says just in time for summer too. Perfect timing. Laugh out loud. Not fishy at all. Yeah, they don't do that in the dead of winter when it's fucking minus 10 degrees. People can't riot, or well, they can, but people aren't going to riot then. Iron Rooster says, "What's everyone else's favorite Friday 13th? Mine is probably 5. Is it also the? It is also the first one I watched. My favorite is the very first movie from 1980. My second favorite's Final Chapter." Wade Wilson says, "My opinion, of course." Matt says, "Nate, go down to the riots and get yourself a TV from Walmart. Laugh out loud." Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I will. Austin says, "Court cases can change unpredictably at any time, even cases that were settled a long time ago." That's probably what they're going to do. And I had this feeling because I couldn't believe when the verdict was actually what they did. But I'm like, well, this can't be over. This can't be over. There's no way. Matt says they'll be giving them away, I hear. I think referring to TVs. Iron Rooster says, "Sorry, you have to deal with that, Nate." Yeah, here's a story about the drive-in last year. Okay, so generally in years that are normal, so every year before last year, the drive-in theater would open like in April if the weather was good. So last year, because of everything, the drive-in didn't even open in April, and they because they didn't know what the hell they were going to do with the new bullshit of last spring. So they finally, they didn't open in April. They lost that whole month. So finally they were going to open like, I think it was going to be like, I can't remember. It was going to be the weekend after, yeah. So they were planning to open probably the weekend after Memorial Day weekend. Well, guess what happened Memorial Day weekend? So then because they were going to open that the following Friday. So then, that whole horse shit, and me being in Minnesota, happened, or was purported to have, we'll just say reported to have happened, on Memorial Day, and reported the day after. So then the drive-ins plans of opening that following Friday were scrapped because it was fucking curfew. I was so fucking pissed last year. I was like, okay, so on top of locking everyone down for this horse shit, then they're going to have this happen, or they're going to say this has happened. And then right when things are going to open up, we're going to do a curfew. And I'm like, oh, talk about frustration last spring. I don't remember when the drive-in was eventually able to open. They might have not opened. Probably, yeah, they probably didn't. Well, obviously, they probably didn't open until June last year. Where am I? Wade Wilson says, "Sorry, we can get off it." Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of started it, so it's my fault. But I guess just that little blurb about it today has just got me going, oh, great, here we go. Here we go. Austin says, "Might want to board your windows this summer, Nate. Laugh out loud, the zombies are coming." Yeah, I don't think I'm not that close. I don't think individual houses are a threat so far. It's just mainly businesses that board up. Matt says at Austin, "I think he'll be fine. He just needs to go down to Walmart during the riots to get some free shit." Laugh out loud. That's what I might end up doing at this point. I don't even care, because gosh knows it's going to probably be chaos across the country if they reverse it and let the character off. Wade Wilson says, "If the verdict stands, they will have to charge the 3 others too." It's a very complicating case, in my opinion. they handled the situation poorly, but at the same time, one of my friends told me there's a missing footage, so we don't see the entire situation. He says, now I'm back on it. Yeah, thanks. It's kind of my fault. I started it. Matt says at Wade Wilson, there's a chance it was all staged. Anyway, anything you see on that dumb TV from the news, you can't trust the stage act. Austin says, kind of like the Nightmare 2 VHS cover. A tad bit better in some ways. It's definitely more appealing in a video store setting. Yeah, I don't disagree with their choice of using that Nightmare 2 VHS cover. It's definitely eye-catching. Rooster says, do you like the Nightmare 2 movie, Austin? Matt says, I don't know if you can, I don't know. You cannot talk about it at least a little. It controls our lives at this point. This fake bullshit they pull. Yeah, so they put stuff on the TV that may or may, well, most likely is not true. That actually has real consequences on everyone's lives, which is really amazing. Austin says the zoom in VHS cover for part 1 is a bit odd, but still cool. That's true. Austin says, Iron Rooster, yes, I do now, but I hated it the first time I saw it on DVD. Yeah, because Nightmare 2 was kind of the what do you want to call it? The ugly stepchild, or the the new beginning of the Nightmare movies for a while for me too, until just later on. Is just like, I don't know, something about that stuff just gets better with time. Well, I liked Nightmare 2 a lot when I first saw it as a kid, and then as I got older, was kind of like, oh, it's just like kind of goofy. But then as I got even older, it was like, I like it. It's for those of you who don't know, all you probably do. The Nightmare 2 is my second favorite Nightmare movie. It's actually kind of, if you look at all of them, it's like, with the exception of New Nightmare, it's one of the more original ones. Or, it's one of the only ones that differs from the other ones and does something cool and different. Matt says, what cultist religions person believes and does in their own cult doesn't affect any of us, but this cult bullshit does affect us because it's my government. Rooster says media is all bullshit. Austin says New Nightmare never had an alternate cover. Rooster says, I got a cool promo VHS of New Nightmare. Austin says the 1999 VHS cover for Nightmare 3 looked like Scream. Yeah, I think a buddy of mine had those newer VHSs. I never looked at the covers, I don't think. Wade says, when I was a kid, I always found the bus scenes to be creepy. You mean the bus scene from 2? That is just so cool to me. If you're talking about that school bus scene at the beginning of Nightmare 2 is just such a cool way to start that movie. It's still probably one of my favorite Freddy scenes. It's just great. Gary Page says, I hate politics. It's all bullshit. I think Gary Page sums it up very well in just a few words. I'd put the only thing I'd add to a sentence is politics and media, and then that'd be a perfect sentence. Austin says Amityville 2 is basically Freddy's Revenge as well. I mean, it's like a prequel to the first one. I don't know if I'd say it's Freddy's Revenge. It's the events that happened before the first movie. Oh, you mean about like the person being possessed? I guess in that aspect, kind of being possessed by the evil and having it come out physically through him or whatever. Wade says some weird censorship going on in this chat. I don't see Matthew's comments posting on here. Is this YouTube doing this? Oh, great. Not again. Austin says Candyman 21 looks like a Freddy's Revenge concept as well. Can't say I know anything about that myself. Matt says at Wade, yep, YouTube censors this type of stuff instantly. Wade says I don't see Gary's comments either. Yeah, maybe we can just stop talking depressing shit and talk about useless movies and horrible drive-in theater experiences. Matt says that Wade, this happens, this censoring every time. We have talked about this on the commie site. Wade says, I see your last two comments. How are they on this chat censoring us? YouTube is disgusting. Let's talk about movies. Yay. It's my fault. I can take the I don't know. Take responsibility for bringing it up. All right, everyone, about an hour and 11 minutes into the show. We'll go at least 50 or 49 minutes more. Wade says, not your fault. Well, thank you very much. It is, though. I kind of started it. You should be able to talk about whatever you want to. Well, that's exactly true. I agree with that. Matt says they spend their time and resources dedicated to censoring people instead of helping the world. Wade says this is sick. Austin says Candyman 21 is a sequel. And everything I'm reading, I end with that tone. I don't know why. Rooster says, have you watched anything else recently, Nate? It seems to me, okay. So after we saw the 21 Mortal Kombat, Beth wanted to find the DVDs of the 90s ones. So we did that, and we watched that one on Sunday, the 95 one, which I liked more. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. I liked it more because, some of the characters looked more closely to what I can remember them looking like in the game and stuff. And plus, who's not going to like a 90s movie more than a 21st century movie just automatically anyway? And was it Bridget Wilson? I don't know. The blonde that they got to play the blonde was a lot cuter in the 95 movie than she was in the 21 one for me. So I liked even though it was like hokey early CG and stuff, I liked the 95. And was it Christopher Lambert? I mean, I like the 90s one more. We still haven't watched Annihilation. I'll probably do that this weekend, but I don't care really about Mortal Kombat much in any form, game, movie, whatever. But that's something else we watched. Oh, before I forget, I meant to ask you earlier, Rooster. I don't see anything about you popping open and watching Doom Asylum. That was your weekend homework assignment. Okay, so let's see here. Austin says, and he's being possessed by Candyman in the trailer, it seems. Matt says Candyman 21 will probably be more woke bullshit. Gary says, loving the chat about drive-ins. It's new to me. Don't have them here. Weather is too unpredictable in summer. Well, that sucks. Yeah, like I say, I'll probably try to upload some highlights from the drive-in. I've got other videos from previous years of funny goings on, like this one girl carrying, I can only assume her younger brother, like over her shoulder and stuff. I've got other clips from other years that I'll try to get up as well. Yeah, so I've got some funny drive-in clips from this year and other years prior that, and also one where, I'll just someone opens in an intermission, some mom opens the door of a vehicle in front of us, and the brand new full popcorn just falls right, must have been leaned up against the door inside the car, and it just falls out and spills all on the ground. So I got some funny drive-in video from the past summers to show you guys. Matt says, let's see. Candyman 21 will probably be something like White Man Bad and now some other bullshit. Laugh out loud. Probably. Wade says Bridget Wilson is pretty in Last Action Hero. Yeah, if you haven't seen her in frickin' the Mortal Kombat from '95, please do. Yeah, she's a lot cuter than the blonde in the new movie, in my opinion. And she was annoying in Last Action Hero, though. She was like screaming and, oh my god, beating people up while screaming. Rooster says, I like the 95 one too. Rooster says, ha ha ha, nope, not yet. I guess he hasn't opened or watched Doom Asylum. Come on, man. I want to know what you think of it. Austin says, Wade Wilson, yep, YouTube is. I scrolled up. Shit. Communist now, laugh out loud. Wade says, the wolf bullshit comment didn't show up for me. Iron Rooster says, I may need to drink a beer for that assignment. Well, whatever you got to do. Matt says at Austin, most Western countries are communist now. Wade says, YouTube ruined my channel because my political beliefs don't align with their brainwashing mainstream media. Politics. Matt says at Wade, was your channel deleted? Matt says, I'm worried about YouTube just deleting my channel because they can do that now for any fucking reason. Austin says, for YouTube censors who are watching, yeah, I'm not going to read that out loud. Iron Rooster says, Nate, we need to see the drive-in highlights. Haha. All right, I'll start pulling those together. Yeah, there's one of some young girl carrying some younger boy over her shoulder. The kid must have not wanted to come back to the car, and that must be her thing that she's probably done before. You know, obviously she's very adept at it. You can tell just, and this kid's all floppy, like he's just a dead corpse. It's funny. Wade says, I was banned from uploading videos. Holy shit. Matt says, Wade, do you post on BitChute or Odyssey? Wade says, everyone knows the 2020 blah, blah, blah was, yeah, I'm not going to read that. Summerhill Cinema 700's here. He says, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, Summerhill, I don't know if you got the memo that I started at noon today versus 1 p.m., but kind of worried about changing the start time, but I thought if I started sooner, I could potentially end sooner. Welcome, Summerhill. Matt says at Wade, I can read the comment. Austin says, Matt, they're committing. Yeah, I think I'm going to just stop reading the, I mean, I appreciate people. I just don't, yeah, fuck. I need to create a separate channel to have these conversations. I don't mean to censor you guys, but you guys can understand what my point as well. Sorry, guys, at the risk of becoming a censor myself, I think I'll just have to. Wade says, yes, sorry, I don't want to get your channel in trouble, Nate. I appreciate that. I still like to think it's so small that it won't be an issue, but I feel like if we, you know, like I say, I almost have to make a separate channel to talk about this stuff. Gary Page says, I think I'd be distracted watching people more than the movie at the drive-in. Well, the people watching comes before the movie. Once the movie starts, it's so dark you can't see the people. So it actually works out pretty well. You know, people watching is while it's, you know, it's going from light from day into night. And once it's dark, you can't see people. So you can concentrate on the movie. Not that movies this, you know, these days are even worth concentrating on for the most part. Matt says, "Don't read the comments because we can say what we can on the comments. It won't affect you." I think that's what I'm going to do. If a comment is too racy, yeah, I think I'll. I generally like to read them for people who might just be listening, but I think you make a good point. Rooster says, "You may have already discussed this. Do you like any Rob Zombie movies?" I don't really like Rob Zombie movies. Matt says, "Nate, we can say whatever you want in the comments and it won't affect your channel at all. They'll just." I hope so. Austin says, "I wonder how Halloween 3D would have turned out." Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that. Summerhill says, "I just watched Hero and the Terror the other day for the first time. It was a good one." Okay. I want to say that Zoe Trilling makes a quick appearance at the beginning of that movie. Is that the one that she's in at the very beginning? It seems to me that she may be. Matt says, yeah. Look at the chat if you want to see what Matt says. Wade says, "Yeah, Rob Zombie movies suck, but his music is okay. When I was younger, I enjoyed his music, but the older I have gotten, it gets played out real quick to me now. I feel like his music didn't age well." Well, a lot of times, if you really, really like something when you're younger, I mean, that's what happens. You just get sick of it at an older age. So whether it's bad or good, I mean, that kind of happens. That can just happen with age too, you know. I mean, there's stuff that I used to love as a kid and or teenager or 20 something that it's like I can't even. It's like, how did I like this? So that just happens. Austin says, "Laugh out loud. Separate channel talking about this stuff would be cool, Nate. Not a bad idea. Maybe have it on BitChute." I'd probably try it here. I'm just because I'm used to working. Yeah, I'm used to using YouTube. Summerhill said, "I don't think she was. Can't remember." Matt says, "Nate just burped directly into our ear. Laugh out loud." Oh shit, sorry. Yeah. I don't even know when I'm doing it. It's just such a natural act for me. I used to apologize, but I'm like, apologize for what? Natural bodily acts. Wade says his music's still light years better than his movies. Austin says, "Yeah, Nate, I can say some pretty controversial things." Laugh out loud. Yeah, maybe I can start Huge Movie Fanatics Underground for the real controversial talk, and then we can just, yeah, to talk about the sensitive shit. Matt says, "Apologize for our ear raping, or for ear raping us." Nate, laugh aloud. Just kidding. Matt says, "Yeah, you don't have to apologize since no one apologizes for their loud fucking dog barking." Matt says, "I can't hear you burp from half a mile away like a loud dog barking." God, I hate that dog barking. Wade says, "My sister gave me a copy of House of a Thousand Corpses. Is that Rob Zombie movie any good or no? I feel like his movies are just gore fest with little substance." Yeah, I never saw that. I think the only ones I saw are that one. Shit, I can never remember the title of it. It's the one with the three killers or whatever. The Devil's Rejects and then his two Halloween movies, I think, are the only Rob Zombie movies I've ever seen. And Devil's Rejects is just so nasty and trashy. I don't enjoy it. Matt says my mom always had a dog when we were growing up, and if the little dog barked more than like once, especially outside, I immediately shut it up. So something must be wrong with these people's brains to just let these things woof woof for hours. Yeah, it's annoying to me too. It's like, do you enjoy that sound? You know how I've often thought this. You know how the popular what measurement of insanity, or the popular definition of insanity, or the one that's accepted, is doing something over and the same thing over and over, expecting a different result or whatever. I mean, there's so many things that they can change the definition of insanity to, like wanting to own a dog, you know, being someone who's a registered voter and going out and voting, and wanting to go to a sports game, or watching professional sports, going to church. There's so many things that you can replace that definition with that are so much more, yeah, pathetic. Austin says more freedom on BitChute, though. I'd like to think, though, if I started a new channel, just Huge Movie Fanatics Underground or something, that since it'd be so small, that maybe it wouldn't. I mean, even if it's messed with, you just keep restarting it over and over. I don't know. I probably too lazy to even do that. I mean, I'd like to think if you started a channel, it'd be so small they wouldn't mess with you, but that might not necessarily be true. But I appreciate the thought. Matt says, I don't know. To me, dogs were meant to be work animals like anything else. They had a place on a farm, but in modern life, they are more of a nuisance to others than anything else. Well, right. I mean, if it's actually, herding sheep or doing something useful on a farm, that's different. But in the suburbs, when houses are packed next to each other side by side, and they're just barking at each other all day, that's not very productive. Austin says, I wonder who will release Return of the Living Dead on Blu-ray next. I don't know. Rooster says, be careful, Nate. We don't want you. Oof. I'm not even going to say that word. That's a scary word. I'm seeing 5 hitchhikers. Thank you very much, everyone. Like I say, I don't know if there's still just one thumbs down or not, but that was there before the show even started. So no thanks to that person. Yeah, we'll probably just go another 30 minutes and I'll probably be dead. I'm usually dead in 2 hours, after 2 hours lately. And plus I got to upload the showcasing of the Nightmare 4 VHS, and probably get outside to freeze my ass off. I don't know. Looks like there's some sun, so maybe it won't be that bad. Rooster says, you probably meant, have I watched any Romero's later zombie movies? Yeah, I think I've seen the Diary of the Dead, and I think I saw his last. I think I've got the DVD of his last one as well. I kind of liked the last one. I think I did a review of it on the channel. I can't even remember is it Survival of the Dead? I think that's his last. Is that his? I think that's his last movie. Not only zombie movie, but last movie. I think I reviewed it. I can remember liking it, kind of. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but see, I don't like found footage, but so I'm not crazy about. Is it Dock of the Dead? But I think it probably is one of the better found footages, to be perfectly, honest. But so I think I've seen his last. Well, then I saw. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because I think he did Land of the Dead before Doc, didn't he? So I mean, I've seen Land of the Dead and Doc of the Dead and Survival of the Dead. I think those are his last three, aren't they? Summerhill says huge movie fanatics will end up on the video nasties list. Ha ha. Yep. Well, ask Gary. Maybe I'm already on it over there in the UK. All right, guys, probably about 30 minutes more show. My eyes were dry pretty much since the beginning of the show. It's just like, reading chat for 2 hours is kind of dry eye inducing. Rooster says, doesn't Severin have a documentary about video nasties? I don't know. Gary Page says, laugh out loud, you're fine. Well, damn it. How do I get on that video nasties? The queen sucks. Austin says, Arrow would be a good choice for Return of the Living Dead next. Now, keep reminding me, Return of the Living Dead, is that the one with Tom Wilson, or Tom, Jesus Christ, my brain's such mush 90 minutes into the show. Tom Matthews, the guy from, and Linnea Quigley, is that the one? I can never remember. Is that Return of the Living Dead? Didn't Scream Factory do that? Matt says, I'm going to head out later. Y'all, all right, Matt. Thanks for joining as always. We'll see ya. Wade says, the guy from Friday the 13th, Part 6. Iron Rooster says, yes. Austin says, I watched Piranha 1978 recently. Fun movie. Need to watch Part 2. Yeah, there's aspects of 2 that I like just like Hot Mom and Hot, I don't know, Hot Girl for the Teenage Son and stuff. And there's a couple of like bimbos that just hot bimbos that like try to scam on guys as well. So there's some hot women in Prana 2. So that makes Prana 2 kind of fun. So there's definitely good things about Prana 2. It would have been cool if Joe Dante could have done Prana 2 as well. Because I think he did a good job with the first one. So Summerhill, I can only assume you've only got American Ninja 1 and 2. You have any interest in seeing any of the other ones after seeing 1 and 2? In my opinion, like they just get worse, just so you know my opinion. Gary Page says, what happened to Will? I've not heard from him since he went to KFC. Yeah. It seems like maybe it's been like a couple weeks since he's been here. Yeah, well, maybe he's busy, writing songs and recording songs. I think it's been a couple weeks since. I mean, you can't expect people to show up every week. Well, what's the other guy, C-Snap from Ireland or wherever? You can't expect people to show up every week. I'm surprised as many people do show up every week as they do. There are some who used to come every week in the beginning of the show, but when weather changes, like I say, it's understandable. Well, I think we've lost some and gained some. I think Rooster is a relatively new participator, still kind of to the show. So lost some, gained some. Summerhill says, I have heard the others are pretty bad, but I might check them out eventually. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they're on Tubi or YouTube or something. I wouldn't really, I'd suggest not paying anything to see them if possible. Rooster says the first few shows you did, I used to listen after the fact. Oh yeah, that works too. I keep forgetting about that. Is it next Tuesday that the King Kong 76 Blu-ray comes out already? It seems to me it might be next Tuesday. Anyone have that pre-ordered? I don't. I'm not crazy about spending like $27, $28 on it, so I don't know if I'll wait and see if it drops, but price drops. We'll see what I end up doing with King Kong 76 Blu-ray. Oh, I got on Monday, well, yeah, kind of yesterday. Recently this week, I got the Blu-rays in the mail of Matinee, Shout Select Blu-ray, the Joe Dante film Matinee, and also finally, it's been in my cart for months, the Code Red Blu-ray release of Cut and Run. So I'm going to check out the unrated version of. I guess it's got rated and unrated cuts. So I'll check out the unrated version of Cut and Run probably tonight. I'm also started the Friday the 13th movies this week, and I did 1 and 2, and I'm glad I get to do the third one in 3D. I hate saying that. I feel bad for people who can't watch 3 in 3D. Rooster says, I watched your videos for a long time also, but never commented. I would just throw a thumbs up on the video. Well, thank you for the thumbs ups. Is Cut and Run as Richard Lynch, right? Yep. And the super ass hot chick who dies too early in the movie, but you see her naked. Yeah, the one with Richard Lynch and Michael Berryman. I got the VHS. I don't know where. Oh, here it is. I first saw it after I got this VHS for $1 at half price. It's a new world video release. So this says R on the back, so it's possible I've never seen the unrated version, so that'll be exciting. Cut and Run. I like the cover art. Good old days of painting. One thing I love about Cut and Run, besides the hot naked chick, is just the like tropical environment the movie takes place in. And I don't know if this is on the Blu-ray cover, but on the VHS it says Assignment Survival. It's like a tagline. That's kind of fun. I'll show the VHS in my movie/Blu-ray review of Cut and Run whenever the hell I do it. Gary Page says Matinee is great. Joe Dante is a great Joe Dante film. I think so too. And having just watched the Blu-ray for the first time last night, it's really great video and audio quality. The 5.1 is great. Rooster says, I like Richard Lynch. Laugh out loud. He was a good bad guy. Oh, I love him. I mean, not like that, but I mean, I agree. He was great. He was a great bad guy in the 80s, and in the 90s. I don't think he was really in so many movies, like A movies in the 90s, but he was in, things like Puppet Master 3 and stuff. I don't know if, I mean, obviously he was probably in more stuff, but Rooster says, doesn't Cut and Run have an Italian director? I think so. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, it's like an Italian production, so that's one of the things that's so cool about it. It says directed by Ruggero Deodato. I can't. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Ruggero space Deodato. Good luck pronouncing that. But yeah, it looks like it's an Italian production with I want to say the music is Claudio Simonetti, the guy who did some of the Dario Argento music. It doesn't say on the back of this. I think it says that on the Blu-ray case, though. The one of the guys from Goblin or whatever. Rooster says, I remember David Lynch in Bad Dreams. Yeah, that's one of the first movies as a kid I kind of became aware of David Lynch in. Like, they really kind of pushed him as, like almost a kind of a, maybe not Freddy character, but yeah. I got the Blu-ray double feature of Visiting Hours and Bad Dreams. Just like so many things I've been meaning to review for years. Austin says Richard Lynch was creepy in Bad Dreams. All right, guys, I'd say about T-minus 20 minutes. I'm counting because my eyes are just, and my brain is mush. My eyes are dry. But maybe potentially expect, this earlier start time moving forward, noon, or like I say, I'll keep you updated on the about page as to when the show starts week to week. Probably on Wednesday is the best time to take a look at it. Sometimes I don't know until Wednesday when I'm going to start. Rooster says he looked creepy for sure. I don't know if I read that already. Austin says Richard Lynch is also pretty awesome in Invasion USA. Yeah, that's one of my other favorite Richard Lynch bad guy movies. Gary Page says Anchor Babe put cut and run out uncut on DVD, but the quality was shitty that they inserted. Oh, okay. Maybe this Blu-ray will have standard definition inserts then. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. We'll see. It doesn't say that on the Blu-ray case, but we'll see. Regardless, it'll just be cool to see the unrated footage, I guess. Can't complain too much. It's not something I plan to watch that often, but the Blu-ray's been in my cart for probably, I don't know what, better part of a year, if not a year. It's like, okay, it's time to get it before it goes out of print. So if you showed up late, feel free to check out the first 17 minutes of the show where I bitch about our first drive-in theater experience of the year, just being annoyed by inconsiderate fellow patrons. Really, it's really a bummer that people can just ruin stuff for other people. Of course, I guess me being potentially sensitive to shit doesn't help either, but I still think they were just being dickwads. Gary Page says, yeah, Cut and Run is directed by Cannibal Holocaust director. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's cool. The sounds of silence. Let me take a peek outside if there's any sun or what we got going on. Oh, yeah, overcast. Currently overcast. Austin says Bad Dreams just has that great late 80s feel. That's true. I should revisit it. That's true. Isn't it great how movies can just capture the, like a time capsule? They can just capture a specific time just in this time capsule, and some capture a specific time more than others depending on what the sound, what the soundtrack is like, or any music that's in it, or era specific vehicles or clothes or Yeah. And then there's era specific faces, like Richard Lynch, Michael Berryman, and certain performers. So all kinds of factors go into movies just having, I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Austin says Invasion USA is out of print, sadly. Yeah, I've got just the MGM DVD suits me fine. I don't watch it very often, but Rooster says Bad Dreams isn't out of print either yet. Well, that's good. You talking about the double feature with visiting hours? Austin says I hate standard definition inserts, but better than nothing. Well, that's true. I mean, it's either that or nothing. I recently watched the Blu-ray of or rewatched the Blu-ray of Slumber Party Massacre 3, and that's a really bad one. I mean, it's got whole scenes that aren't even gore scenes that are just standard definition scenes. It's like that's one of the most frustrating standard definition inserts Blu-rays ever, because it's not just for a few seconds during a gore scene. There's some scenes that aren't gore scenes at all that are standard definition inserts. It's like, damn it. Rooster says yes, the double. Austin says Iron Rooster, it's an MGM licensed Blu-ray, so it'll probably be out of print the next few years. Yeah, it's a good tip. Like if anyone's has any interest in buying that, might be wise to do so before you no longer can for a reasonable price. Austin says the double feature Blu-rays go out of print pretty fast for some reason with Scream Factory. Yeah, I'm surprised that it's not already out of print. Seems like it came out quite a while ago. Rooster says, what is the Blu-ray you most regret missing out on, Nate? I'd say that the title that came to mind just instantly is Scarecrows, possibly. Scarecrows is one that I was going to get and then just never did. So probably Scarecrows is the first one I can think of now. I'm sure there's other ones if I thought about it. But luckily, I mean, a lot of stuff, I didn't miss out on because, I was so excited that it came out that I got it right away. But some things like Scarecrows, where I've got the MGM DVD and it looks just fine, and it's probably the same scan, obviously, just in standard definition on the DVD. But that's the reason I never really got, and for me, it upscales fine on the TV. And that's why I never really bothered with the Blu-ray, because, it looked fine on DVD. So Austin says Jennifer Rubin was really hot in the 80s. Now, who the hell is she and what was she in? The name doesn't ring a bell. Austin says Iron Rooster, I regret not getting that Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3 double feature blue. Yeah, I'm so glad I got that. Sorry, I didn't mean to shove it in your face, but if it makes you feel any better, the standard definition inserts and the unrated version of the third movie are kind of annoying. So you can watch like the R-rated version. See, I don't understand why they even did an R-rated version. Well, I don't know. One of the actresses said, I guess it kind of did go to theaters, maybe two whole theaters. She said she saw it in the theater with her family. So I guess Slumber Party Massacre 3 maybe was in one or two theaters. So that's, I guess, why you'd even need to do an R-rated cut in the first place. But yeah, it's just a bummer when they have to get rid of the film elements of the gore shit. Rooster says, same here, Austin. I can only assume he means about Summer Party 2 and 3 Blu-ray. Rooster says, "Do you have any of the Sleepaway Camp Blues, Austin?" Austin says, "Is Slumber Party Massacre 3 the unrated version on that Blu-ray?" It's got the R-rated and unrated, but as I've been saying, the unrated has the standard definition inserts from, whatever standard definition source. They probably the same thing they put the DVDs out on initially, probably just that source or something. Austin says, "Iron Rooster, I have Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 Blues with slips, but I bought them before they went out of print." Okay, good. I can only assume Iron Rooster doesn't have. Which Sleepaways do you have on Blu-ray? All right, everyone, about, I'd say, 9.5 minutes of show left, I'm afraid. I don't know how I used to go 3 and 4 hours, because nowadays I'm just dead at 2 hours into the show. Summerhill says, "Sorry, gotta run early. Have a great day, everyone." I'm gonna be gone in 9 minutes myself, so that's okay. Thanks for showing up, Summerhill. Rooster says, "I only have the first Sleepaway Camp. Do you have the VHS for them, Nate?" I never actually got the first one on VHS, because as a teenager, I didn't, strangely enough, and it's hard to say now, but as a teenager, I never really liked the first one. My favorite as a teenager was the third one, because of that topless chick in the tent. So I've got VHSs for 2 and 3, but it's kind of a bummer. I've never owned the VHS for the first one. I know that Media put it out, and then a Video Treasures version came out. Wish I could say I had the Media VHS of the first Sleepaway Camp, but I've got 2 and 3 VHSs. I think the VHS for part 2 I got is like, it seems like it's in a clamshell, so the cover's cut, but I've got the full cover for the VHS of part 3. Oh, okay. So Austin says Jennifer Rubin was the dark-haired chick with the switchblades in Nightmare 3 and the main character in Bad Dreams. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Rooster says, "I remember that cover art for part 1 every time I would go to the video store." Yeah, that's one thing I always did like about Sleepaway 1 is the cover, beyond classic. One of the most classic posters, really. I guess for me as a kid and a teenager, like the first Sleepaway didn't really have enough. Well, it doesn't really. I don't think it has any TNA in it. I mean, it just, for some reason, as a younger, a kid and a teenager, the first Sleepaway Camp never did anything for me. Obviously, that's dramatically changed since. I mean, I love it now. Sounds of Silence. God, I'm just tired. We had a pretty good turnout this week, I think. So that worked out nice. And what's his name showed up for the first time in a while. It seems like he left us a while back. Wade Wilson. That was nice to see Wade show up again. Rooster says, haha, I bet, man, your eyes have to be hurting. Luckily, they're not hurting, but they've been like dry this whole show for some reason. Maybe just the dry air or something. Austin says those sleepaway camp VHS tapes are pricey. Are they? Pretty sure I've got the second one, but it was like I say, cut down for a clamshell. I don't even know if I know. It's got to be somewhere. If I was really desperate, sometimes I'd try to recreate, because if they're really nice, all they do when they cut a tape cover down for clamshell, they just slice down the side or something, and one could, if they did that, one could actually kind of take it out of the clamshell and reconstruct it and like just tape it back together. I don't know if I tried to do that with the VHS of Sleepaway 2 or not. Let me take a really quick. Yeah, I don't know where the hell the VHS for Sleepaway 2 is. Probably someone, or somewhere, I should say. Someone. Rooster says even the Video Treasures one is high. That's crazy. Gary Page says if you can check out Severin Video Nasty's DVD, it will show you how pathetic the UK old fart politicians were, and a censor who can't stop cutting movies, and it was shit scared of The Exorcist. Oh no, scary movies. Rooster says, you ever watch Nightmare Beach, Austin? Austin says, Iron Rooster, those Video Treasures are just crappy EP mode tapes, so kind of strange. Those are pricey. Austin says, Iron Rooster, not yet. Rooster says, it's got a cool soundtrack, plus it has John Saxon in it. Okay, like I say, Rooster, you gotta crack open that Blu-ray of Doom Asylum. Let us know what you think about it. Rooster says, are you about to bike, Nate? I don't think I'll bike today. It's pretty chilly, but I got some mail. I'm gonna walk to a mailbox. So I think I'll get outside today for a walk some mail to the mailbox. So first, before I do that, I'll upload the video showcasing VHS of Nightmare 4. Don't want to leave you guys hanging. And then 5 will come tomorrow and 6 the next day. And probably by then, well, kind of more busy on the weekends, but possibly after that, maybe some drive-in theater clips from, past years and or this year. So there's so much footage to go through, though. I don't know how, but I'll try to make a point to get some drive-in clips in. There's some stuff that I already have from previous years made in clip form that I, for some reason, never uploaded yet. Rooster says, haha, maybe I will. Yeah, if it's like in the 70s, that'd be nice to get outside down there. Rooster says, nice. Gary Page says, right, see you next week, Nate. And no join in rioting if any starts. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I won't join in it. Rooster says, take your time, man. Thanks, I'm gonna. Like I say, there's some clips from previous drive-ins that are already made. So maybe those will go up first since they're conveniently all ready to go. All right, guys, about a minute left. Thank you very much. Like I say, doing this just puts me in this zombie state. By the time I'm done with it, I can't even think anymore. Thank you very much for showing up for this. Once again, it's been fun. It was pretty busy the first hour of the show, more busy than I expected, or I think it's been for a while. So that was kind of cool. Also kind of exhausting to try to keep up with the what people are saying, but if they're saying something controversial, I've decided to not read it out loud anymore. Rooster says, cool talking with you, man, later, and everyone else. Yeah, it was busy, that's for sure. It's cool to have them busy, but also exhausting to keep up with it. So, all right, everyone, thanks a lot for joining as always, and hope to see you guys here next week.